it's not a looker. It's never going to be winning any sort of beauty awards. A couple of years ago, or at least a little while ago, I did a video on the Pearl 14x8 brass free-floating snare drum, and I keep looking over here because it's sat here. And in late 2020, for some unknown reason which is still unclear to me, I decided that I needed to get hold of the other three sizes of that sort of model. Namely the brass free floater. So those sizes are, and I can never remember if it's 14x3.5 or 14x4, but I'll put it up on the screen as to which one it actually is. So it is 14, we'll call it 14x4 for now, a 14x5 and a 14x6.5, and I managed to get all three of those drums, and I managed to get them somehow, not quite sure how, in a space of about 8 days. Commitment to the cause and all that, I guess. But the two of the three drums that I subsequently got, the 6.5, which is the focus of this video, the 5 are both older drums. They're older models. The Piccolo is a later one. I'm not really sure of the actual age of any of them, to be honest, but I know enough about these things to know to be able to pick up the subtle differences. And these are older ones, and I would take a guess, maybe sort of certainly the look of. I mean, the 14x8 is, I think, a sort of a late 80s drum. I think probably the 5 and the 6.5 are probably sort of maybe early 90s. I'm going to guess. And as I said, the Piccolo is a bit later. But the focus, as I said, of this video is the 6.5. Now, I'm not going to be able to do a full spin of this, but I'll show you the pertinent parts. But this drum is, as I said, a little old. Now, it did have, when it came to me, it did have the sort of the extended bridge on it. I've taken that off because basically, I think this drum was misdescribed in the advert, and to be fair, I didn't pay that much for this either, so I'm not going to get upset about it. But the bridge basically was missing some screws, and if you know anything about these drums, the bridge basically, in fact, I will show you on the other one. It might be a little easier. So the bit I'm talking about is this bit here. On this side, and the purpose of this system is basically to lift the wires up so they hit the head at a flatter position than otherwise would normally be the case, and where the obviously the string here is coming in pretty much flat to the head. Under normal circumstances, it would be coming up at an angle. So I hope that sort of clears that little bit up. Now, anyway, as I said, this drum, I took that bridge off, and I took that bridge off, as I said, because there were some screws missing. In fact, I have the bridge here. There you go. I have it here. It was completely redundant. When I got this drum, I set it up and I put a couple of new heads on it. So I've got a Diplomat snare side on the bottom, and I've got a CS control dot on the top, and it works just fine. It's not, and as I just sort of tried to demonstrate. There you go. So the cord there is at an angle coming in, which means it's a little bit of I think a tighter pull down on the edge. But in this instance, I'm going to let it go. As I said, it's not something I paid a lot of money for. Other than that, though, I mean, the drum does show signs of age. It's reasonably well pitted everywhere. I'm sure I could clean it up much better than I actually have tried to now. I mean, to be fair, it needs a pretty good clean, and I think if I got some very light, fine, wet and dry or sandpaper or something, I could probably relieve the shell of a lot of these marks, but or the hardware of a lot of these marks, but it just doesn't matter to me. I mean, the shell is, I mean, physically the shell's fine. You know, it's one of those things. I think a little bit of pitting and a little bit of sort of rust on these things sometimes doesn't actually hurt. This isn't terribly bad. I mean, it's got a little bit of shell acne there, which probably won't show up too well because of the light. But it's, you know what, I didn't buy this thing to be. I didn't buy it to actually sit in a case or sit on the side and look lovely. I bought it to play it. And you know what? This is another one of those drums that I take down and play and remember how good it actually sounds and how good it feels to play. Not that there's any reason to ever forget that, but I think it's one of those things that it just is nice to be reminded of that every once in a while. But it's got the Gladstone type mechanism, just falls away from the shell. You've got the adjustment on the other side. You've got some additional dust here, which I'm not going to get too close to the camera with because it looks a little tacky. But as I said, I mean, everything works. That's the main thing. It's a good, solid rock drum, or drum in general, really. But you know, it's quite loud, as you might sort of expect from a brass shell. But you know what? As I said, it's not a looker. It's never going to be winning any sort of beauty awards. But at the same time, and as I've said in other videos before, sometimes I just don't care what they look like. And I have a drum just down here, my Q plate steel, and that is rusting nicely. I think every sort of week I look at that drum, there's a little bit more patina on it, and it kind of looks a little bit more obviously rustic and a little bit more full of character. So I'm going to sort of put that put this one down to the same sort of thing. It's not a looker, but it is full of character, and to be honest, as I said, it needs a bloody good clean. But anyway, you know, I'm not sure there's really much more to say about this one. I mean, as I said, it's a brass shell. It's reasonably old, and it's dusty and dirty. So you know, this is what it sounds like. Thanks for watching. See you next time.